hang on. This guy who's so serious, just shouting orders, has a huge heart for something. It's really nice to see what people are crazy about.
Hey, Karish! आपने बनाई है?
Yeah.
Perfect.
He's basically bragging. You've directed several shows. We're going to be unraveling a lot of your journey. You are clearly very, very passionate when it comes to sports.
Arshab Bhogle is one of the reasons that I came into this line as well. I was with 10 Sports for 6-7 years. I remember this catch which Ajay Jadeja took. Since then, I was hooked to the game. The cricket bug kind of caught me and I was dissuaded. Do not watch this. My dad was strict.
Was it so difficult then that you decided to leave?
I don't know how to answer that question. It's a very tricky question.
The cameras are rolling and we are ready with another episode of my show. But before we get to anything else, I have to say I have a personal little victory today because I've managed to get someone who's usually used to saying lights, camera, action from behind the camera today in front of the camera. It's time to meet our guest today.
Hey, Karish!
Hey, Himadri, how are you
Cheers.
doing?
With the tea. Healthy and not so healthy, but still good enough.
Please try it. कैसी लगी?
आपने बनाई है?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you. स्वागत है सबसे पहले हिमाद्री
Thank
to
you.
our home.
Beautiful home, by the way. Yeah?
Thank you.
I love the way you have styled the whole living room into a podcast studio.
It just worked out so well.
Good wall there as well. No problems in terms of reflecting of lights. Good choice.
Now he's basically bragging now and he has bragging rights. He's allowed to. So Himadri, let me tell you, is someone who's been behind the camera for years and years and years. You've directed several shows. You've worked with innumerable people on several different projects.
Yep.
You have your own production company set up here in the UAE. Today, we're going to be unraveling a lot of your journey, working behind the scenes on whether it's cricket, whether it's, any other sports across the spectrum, or of course, entertainment shows that you've produced, you've directed as well. Acumen is your baby.
Yeah.
That is the production company that you set up in which year?
2014.
Coming up
9
on 10 years now.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
And before that, you were working full-time job?
I started my career in 2005
Right.
with Headlines Today, which is now India Today
Right.
network.
Yes.
Not the magazine,
The channel.
news channel. Yeah,
Yes.
the news channel.
Yes.
Then I moved to a channel called News X. And then I got my dream job, so to speak, working in a sports channel. From day one in media, I've always been in sports only. From 2005, when I stepped into that studio of Headlines Today, I went to the shift supervisor who was sitting on a round table. I asked him, where is the sports desk? That guy, being from sports industry as well, he was very happy to know that, oh, koi aaya hai aur usko seedha sports ki desk pe jana hai, he's interested. And I was an intern at that time. And then he escorted me very happily. And since that day, I always wanted to be in sports production. I still am.
Right.
Now, although I don't get to cover sports on a day-to-day basis like I would have, after NewsX, I joined 10 Sports. So
Right.
I was with 10 Sports for 6-7 years and covered sports, multiple different sports across the world, around the world, living my dream. Even now, just to satiate that sports kida within me, I still keep on working on different sporting events from time to time, just to keep that passion alive. That's very important.
This I know about you, Himadri. You are clearly, very, very passionate when it comes to sports. But funnily, my introduction to you has nothing to do with sports. So how I know Himadri is from the fact that a couple of years ago, you directed me on a TV show that I did for Colors, which was the Colors Food Trail Season 2. And then earlier this year, you directed me once again. And this time it was again for Colors in the spotlight.
And always a pleasure directing you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're every director's dream.
Please tell Sanjay Leela Bhansali. I need him
अगर
to
कभी
hear
मिले
this.
तो
Interesting way of getting how we've known each other, which is purely as professionals. You met me as a host, I met you as a director, and then we, I think, directly on set started working together. Yeah. And we have marathon shoot days. I would do my radio show in the morning and then come to the studio and we'll do 2 episodes in a day, 4 days in a row. It is exhausting. Your team and you are phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
For me, I think, when we were sitting around chit-chatting in the middle of some shoot. It was at that point when it came up. I think it was with cricketer Chirag Suri.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole cricket conversation came up. And I realized that, hang on, this guy who's so serious, always very busy, you know, just shouting orders and all that, making sure the show gets done on time, has a huge heart for something. And it's really nice to see what people are, you know, crazy about. You know, we all do our jobs with passion, but there's one thing that we're absolutely have that childlike love for, and for you, that is sports. So you were working here for how many years, and at what point did you decide you wanted to go solo, do your own business? Yeah. How hard was that entire process for you?
It was difficult, I won't lie. I had anxiety attacks as well, thinking about it, because you get used to certain style. You have your own comfort zone, you're in the cocoon, very comfortable. And I was loving it, you know, I was loving working for 10 Sports. But one fine day, a media conglomerate, a giant, decides to take 10 Sports over without naming them. Then that comfort zone that we were talking about, it got shaken a little bit.
Right.
Yeah. And it got burst eventually. So they said, okay, one fine day, pack your bags. We are moving to India.
Okay.
Just like that. You have 2 months. Either you decide to stay here or, you know, all the best, or you can come back with us. So that decision, you know, that phase, when I said anxiety attack, it is linked with that, because you are now no longer in control of what you want to do.
Correct.
I tried my hand here and there, but then, you know, I said, okay, it's not really working out. The time is too short. Went back to Delhi, to Noida, where the office was of the new 10 Sports now. But somehow when you are living here in Dubai, you know, you get used to what Dubai offers. Yeah. It's safe for women, great for families. It's a beautiful cultural place where everything is, you know, melting in so beautifully. It's great for kids growing up as well. Yeah. So, you know, I always had it in back of the mind, मुझे वापस तो आना है. कैसे, कहाँ, we will see. Then, I think 10 months down the line over there, I said, I think it's enough is enough. I need to move back to Dubai. And somehow, whatever transpired. I came, opened the company, and initial few months were difficult, but then I had good contacts, you know, which I had forged over a period of, you know, over a number of years living here. And then, you know, it kind of came in handy, and yeah, I don't know since then how many shows I've done, honestly, I can't count, but yeah, it's been good. The reason of opening, as you said, was I wanted to be in control of my own destiny, so to speak, and my own. I didn't want somebody else to make that decision and say, okay, 2 mahine ke baad, pack up and leave.
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
We've heard that, you know, people don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad bosses. So were you considering another job? Were you
at that time
clear that you're going to start your own business?
I was in two minds. I was also hoping that I get something like a good job opportunity over here.
What exactly were you doing?
I was a sports producer.
What do sports producers do?
Okay, so World Cup is going on right now, correct? There are more than 100 to 150 people working behind that broadcast.
Right.
There is a director, bunch of cameramen. There are EVS operators which do live editing as we see all these replays in a few seconds, right? Then there is a full graphics team. There are engineers. There are satellite guys.
Yeah.
Then there is a producer, the broadcast producer. And we have a color ENG producer, as we call it, who do color stories. So, and a whole bunch of production team which is dedicated to pre-shows, post-shows, which requires editorial understanding. It requires understanding of the game. So the producer effectively, like a broadcast producer, would be somebody who will sit with the commentators, behind the commentators, plan the whole roster, which commentator will do commentary when. I'm boring you, I know.
No, I'm actually visualizing it.
Yeah. Your job as a producer to see what patterns the game is throwing up.
Wow.
Then you get EVS, which is people who are editing it live. There's one guy dedicated to making specialized packages for the match.
Okay.
You get that done. You see any records being broken, there's a stats guy who you are working with in conjunction with. I want to keep the viewers engaged. I'll throw in, with the help of the team, and obviously letting the commentators know that, hey, this might come up now. The role of a producer is like, he's almost like a coordinator amongst all these different departments which are working on that match. And everything is happening live, by the way.
Yeah.
Everything is happening live then. And obviously you do your own homework, you prepare, but what the match throws at that point of time, that's the beauty of live sport.
Yeah.
You know, every moment is new. It is, it's like history in the making. And I mean, sometimes you feel privileged to be a part of it.
The way you talk about sports, Himadri, it's like your face lights up.
It's my first love. Sorry, Vaishali, but yeah, yeah, it is.
Let's just stick to your first love then.
I'll get to the start of my career. Very interesting.
Let's do that.
It's a bittersweet story though.
Oh.
2005, I think. Initially, I was on desk in Headlines Today. My shift super tells me, go to Firozshah Kotla now and do a story on this guy called Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli was 16 years, I think, back then. He had unfortunately lost his dad overnight. But his commitment, I mean, remarkable commitment, I think had to score some 89 runs or something like that to save themselves from follow on. And he's an overnight not out batsman, Virat Kohli. And his dad is expired. Next day, he comes out to bat, saves Delhi from follow on. So I had to do a story and interview him.
Wow.
In that moment, very difficult.
Yeah.
For him as well as for me, because it is a little awkward.
Yeah.
Nobody has trained you for this particular scenario.
Yeah, because now empathy has to enter the picture.
That's why I'd say it's a bittersweet moment. So that was my first ever story that I did. We didn't know what his career would be now, what it is. But in that early days, you could have seen, you know, that sort of commitment the guy had. To do that at that age speaks volume. You know, whatever he is achieving now is not really a surprise because of the way he is, I won't say committed, he's married.
Yeah.
And he's dedicated himself to the game. He's incredible. When I was in 10 sports, it was almost like, first few years, you were a little starstruck with all the names that you worked with. But after a point of time, you forged relationships with them. It's just a normal day job. What still is interesting is that every game is a different story. That's what keeps it interesting, keeps it alive. So Vivian Richards was unbelievable. What a man. He's the real king. You know, he is, despite what he has achieved, the guy is so down to earth and humble that sometimes he comes to you, he'll say, sir, are you okay with everything? You know, you just have to say, please do not address me as a sir. You know, it's a little embarrassing. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
When we're talking about sports people, there's automatically a lot of discipline in their lives because of what they do.
Not after retirement.
Definitely not after. I think that's their very well earned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Have there been people that you have met whose discipline really impressed you?
Ian Bishop, you see him in the commentary box. He's somebody who's done his homework, who has done his research. He literally is a student of the game. Every little fact and story and detail and patterns of play, that is really inspiring. And then Harsha Bhogle, as we all know, he's amazing. What is great about him, he's a storyteller at his heart. He has his way with the words.
Yes,
he's a wordsmith, right?
Yes.
He obviously is one of the reasons that I came into this line as well.
Really?
Back in the 90s, late 90s or early 2000s, I don't remember exactly, there was a show called Harsha Ki Khoj. It used to come on ESPN back in the day.
Right.
So watching it as a young boy, I wanted to take part in it. I would have applied for sure, didn't get through, whatever. उसमें audition video भेजना होता था, तो वो भेजा मैंने, लेकिन कुछ हुआ नहीं.
So they were looking for the next
Harsha Bhogle. So that is what really, you know, got me into dreaming. Oh, I can be part of this world as well.
Wow.
Thanks to him.
People don't often talk about commentators this much because obviously the chunk of the attention goes to the, you know, players of the game. But, you know, commentary itself, is that a career option now or no? It's reserved for former cricketers.
Good question, actually. There is room still. You know, you see in Star Sports, there is Jatin Sapru, who has not played the game, but he's commentating in Hindi commentary.
Right.
He's doing it. So when you talk about the regional languages,
right?
Yeah, there is still a very good opportunity for people who want to do commentary. Maybe perhaps not English, because in English you still have the ex-cricketers joining the ranks,
Yeah,
and Hindi.
from the world over.
From world over.
Yeah.
The game has changed now. You look at IPL, how many commentary languages, how many languages the commentary is beamed in? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Abhi Punjabi, Bhojpuri bhi aa gayi hai.
Yeah, we've heard the Bhojpuri.
I was working in the Football World Cup for Viacom in Mumbai last year. They had even Punjabi commentary, wherein they bring in that flavor. It's not just the cricket that they're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
They're also talking about the culture.
The cultural flavor comes in with the language. That's true.
Comes with it, and there, because you ask commentary,
Yes.
abhi hai ki nahi, there the commentators have a lot more opportunities than perhaps English.
I've heard people say time and again that there's too much cricket happening right now. We need to tone it down. You know, there's 50 overs, there's 20 overs, there's all kinds of tournaments and test series round the clock. Are you of that opinion as well, or what is your opinion?
It's purely driven by what the viewers want. But what is the reality? That cricket series is providing employment opportunities to so many professionals, to so many event staff, to so many administrators, to the groundsmen, to the pitch curators. It is also providing entertainment, right? And when we talk about job creation, if a sport is doing that, who are we to say it's too much?
Yeah.
I, being from the profession, I cannot say it's too much.
One thing I realized, Himadri, is that a lot of your love for cricket comes from possibly having grown up in a household that watched a lot of cricket. Because you are talking about players from back in the day that I remember, because I grew up in a cricket watching home. We all did in the 90s. We didn't have a choice, right? Like dad had the remote, and there would be test series upon test series, and that's it for 4 days. That would be the only thing that played at home. So those are the memories we have of cricket. Those are the players we remember. And you've mentioned a lot of those. Tell me what your childhood was like. Did you grow up in a cricket watching home?
Not really.
No.
No, because my parents, academics, professors, both of them. My dad was interested in cricket a little bit, not too much. We were expected to get good marks, get good grades. Our television time was slightly restricted, but हम तो ढीठ थे. 1992 World Cup. India are playing Australia.
This is the one that Pakistan...
Imran Khan lifted the World Cup. I remember this catch which Ajay Jadeja took. That is my first cricketing memory. It was an unreal, unbelievable catch. Since then, I was hooked to the game. I was living in an apartments back then in Delhi. My mom and my sister used to force me to come back. We were just playing cricket all day long. Cricket and football and a lot of other games which typically people played in 90s. So the cricket bug kind of caught me, and I was sometimes dissuaded, do not watch this, study for exams.
Yeah.
Because my dad was strict. Sometimes when you say no too much, you would want to do it more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it was.
Yeah.
Now I'm careful with how I do it with my son. I have to sometimes say no. I used to watch as much as I could because back in the day, if no means no, you can't argue. Lag jate the. Of course.
Somebody gonna get a hurt real bad.
जो अब नहीं हो सकता, possible नहीं है. But obviously, I understood later on why they did what they did. Of course.
Yeah.
Credit goes to Sachin Tendulkar a lot.
Of course.
Whenever he used to come to bat, irrespective of your age, who you are, you would want to watch it.
Yeah.
Because of the class of the man, the way he batted.
Yeah.
It was, thinking about him is nostalgia.
Some of my memories are coming alive. So I'm from Bombay. Yeah. We grew up in a place called Khar. There's 14th Road, 16th Road, 18th Road. So we're all one lane. Once there was a match going on, just like this, Sachin's playing, everyone's like pumped up. One of those big matches, like I think India, Pakistan, possibly, big match. I'm not sure where, but I know it was a big match. And then suddenly, at a crucial moment in the game, there's no electricity. The lights go out.
Oh.
So 14th Road has lost electricity. All of us are like, oh no, what happened? What happened? Everyone's in the balcony. That's where you'd run immediately. And then 16th Road still had electricity. So we heard a cheer from there. That means that they had just taken another wicket. Yeah. And we celebrated here on 14th Road in our balconies. But that is how we grew up.
That's the beauty of the game, isn't it? How everybody forgets about everything when it comes to cricket. That's beautifully narrated. Actually, when you're narrating me, the story was going in my head.
Yeah.
Kaisa raha hoga waisa. We used to have these emergency lights as well.
Generators, inverters, yes.
to make sure that we don't miss out. अभी जैसे मोबाइल में आता है, अभी उस समय नहीं होता था. It was on channel only.
Correct.
You couldn't have checked Cricket for anybody else for the score as well.
There was nothing.
So, if in that case, we used to turn to AIR, All
Yes.
India Radio,
Yes.
and listen over there.
If you didn't study or if you failed, your parents would basically tell you, we're going to cut off the cable. That was the eternal threat. That is all we had.
This threat used to be made after every report card used to come.
है ना?
ये केबल को कटवा दो. अब ये केबल कटने वाला है. So then you used to behave for a week
Yeah.
or two max, and then you were back to your old ways.
Here's what I'm wondering, Himadri, as I'm hearing you speak, you have so much love for the game and you were at a sports channel. Was it so difficult then that you decided to leave? Because, I mean, was your love not enough to tide over whatever bad, management decisions you were dealing with?
Good question. Sometimes reality bites a little bit. So, I don't know. We all were used to the lifestyle of Dubai too much. I don't know how to answer that question. It's a very tricky question. As I said, I still love sports so much. Yeah. So, whenever I do cover it on a freelance basis now,
right,
I want to go back into it full time. Often it happens. But then you also have to be cognizant of the reality. You're running something, you're creating something, you're working on projects on a weekly, daily basis.
Yeah.
So sports still drives me. Nobody knows what will happen in the future. Maybe one day I'll go back to it full time.
Maybe you will. But in the last 9 years, how close have you, what is the closest you've come to doing sports? What events have you done?
Last year, did the World Cup football, worked in IPLs, worked on many bilateral series which keep on happening. Since 2014, I worked in the Asian Games as well. UFC just happened in Abu Dhabi, UFC 294. Sports still keeps me interested and occupied at times, and I love it. Yeah.
And do you have any anecdotes to share from any of these over the years, all the shows, all the work that you've done in sports with some of the most memorable sports people you've met?
Here's an interesting one. Growing up in the 90s, I used to bowl fast. At least try to. I used to change my action every week. 1 week was Javagal Srinath. Other week was Venkatesh Prasad. 1 week was Glenn McGrath or Jason Gillespie or somebody or the other. But one action which I absolutely loved replicating was of Waqar Younis. And the day I met him for real in the commentary box, it was a little bit of surreal to me.
Yeah.
That here is this guy which I have grown up replicating his action. And you meet him, such a great guy, so humble, so respectful. Stature-wise, he's up there, right up there amongst the legends of the game. And then you're working with such people on a day-to-day basis, sharing a laugh, sharing a professional relation, having occasionally sitting down for lunches or dinner with them. That's that connection to childhood and then reality. Sometimes is surreal. Okay, very recently, I've always been a Manchester United fan.
Correct.
Since 1996, I can remember. I don't think I've missed hardly any United games. Even on the day of my marriage, United were playing Bolton Wanderers and a friend of mine was telling me the score line. He was keeping me abreast while my wife was okay. इसके बाद पता नहीं क्या होगा, but हाँ.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the couch tonight.
2007 Champions League final. I was working for 10 Sports. We were broadcasters of the Champions League, and the guest was Teddy Sheringham, and he scored a very crucial equalizing goal when United played Bayern Munich in 1999 Champions League final. I find him in the studios in 2007 Champions League final as a guest. That is really surreal because here's somebody who you have grown up loving so much because of that one moment.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a lot of other things as well, but he'll be remembered forever for that one moment. Getting to meet him was unbelievable. But then, last year, Wayne Rooney joins Manchester United. And he is somebody who is ferocious. Yeah, what a player. Legend. Last year, I go to Viacom which is Sports 18, to do the World Cup coverage. Yeah. And he's there.
No way.
Somebody who you have grown up admiring, loving, Then you get to meet him. Great guy. We often refer to some sportsmen as the red mist moment. That once they cross that line, they are a different personality altogether.
Yeah.
I think he was one of them for sure.
Yeah.
Because this side of the line, very laid back, calm guy. Hardly exuding any emotion as well. But then when he was playing the game, he was as ferocious as anyone could be. And you do come across such players from time to time that then you meet them off the field.
This is true, I think, even for people in entertainment, right? Because you switch on, you switch off. Not everyone is 24/7 Ranveer Singh.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So I want to bring you back now. I want to circle all the way back to your business. What is something that people should know are challenges they should be ready for, especially when you're setting up a business in the UAE? I know it's about 10 years almost for you. But still, if you can shed some light on that.
One of the most important things, if you're opening a company like now, make sure that you have saved up capital, good amount. Those first few months will be really difficult. Being mentally prepared, especially if you're leaving a job and getting into it.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that mindset change completely. Sometimes you're used to that comfort zone and you're used to that lifestyle, knowing that that security is there. So what I'm doing now, a job now, I also have to be looking out for what I will be doing 2 months or 2 weeks or a month down the line.
Right.
That pressure is consistent and constant. That is something which often, I wouldn't say bog you down, but keeps you going. Looking for something new to do always. Making sure that you're doing different things and not just restricting yourself to one particular thing. That is very important. Yeah, be ready, be open-minded to do as many things as possible. I won't say be jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Try to branch out as much as you can. Don't just bank on one particular thing.
Are you able to maintain work-life balance?
Not every month.
Yeah.
There are a few months where the peak season is when it happens here in Dubai, which is, I would say, from September onwards till March, April, May, June.
Basically, Global Village opening months. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not that we are working non-stop every day, Yeah, it happens, but then also depends on the workload at times, what is there. Because for us, there is planning involved, there is shoot involved, but then there is a lot of post-production left as well, right?
Yeah.
So the cycle is longer. The life cycle of one particular work is very different for different professionals within the industry.
So if we are to sum up, what we've heard you share so far, and thank you so much for sharing, Himadri. It's like someone who loved playing gully cricket, went on to become a sports producer.
I still play cricket.
You still play cricket?
Every Saturday,
Fixed.
5:30 a.m. Tomorrow is a game.
Tomorrow's the game.
I don't know whether I should mention tomorrow, but yeah, there's a game happening.
Yeah.
Every 5:30.
Yeah.
Every Saturday we play.
This is the thing about you, right? So there's that part of your life is still ongoing. You've maintained that love for cricket. You've moved, the way you're providing livelihood for your family. So instead of being a sports producer today, you're running your own production company. You're a dad. You're a husband. You've made yourself a home in Dubai. What are 3 learnings from your life that you could share with someone today that maybe would help them make fewer mistakes in their life?
If we could actually create a little time machine, wouldn't we love going back in time and telling your former self, don't be so stupid, don't be so impetuous, don't do things in a haste at times. Don't say whatever come in your head. Learn to be a little bit politically correct.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I might have been too aggressive because I was so passionate.
And because you're from Delhi.
Yeah, this is not. Imagine if we were doing this show in Delhi style.
Delhi.
Or
In
Delhi
Delhi
style.
style.
Beep, 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 chalta rahega. And there have been a few incidents in 10 sports, especially when it comes to my colleagues who are supporting rival teams. It's a crazy world. In sports, it's a crazy world. A United fan and a Liverpool fan or a Chelsea fan, it's non-stop and it's ongoing, it's full on always, yeah. So yeah, sometimes, I could have watched my word here and there a little bit. That's a learning. And I think another learning would be that don't have any regrets as such, because then they only hold you back.
Yeah. That sounds great, Himadri. Thanks for just hanging out with me.
Wow. Is it done?
We're done. How nervous were you?
Not a little bit, not too
Yeah.
much.
But
Matlab, it's like a test innings, right?
Haan.
Pehle ek odd over, you're just leaving the ball outside the off stump, getting used to the pitch and the conditions and the pace of the ball. And once you are in the flow, you forget you're in the zone.
Are they still running Harsha ki coach? Because I
No,
think we found someone.
No, I don't think so. They are, but yeah.
We also think that Himadri today would have inspired many as well. And, if you are a sports fanatic, someone who's hopeful of creating a future career path within sports, we hope that today we were able to shed some light on what the possibilities are out there for you. Of course, with the World Cup going on, what's your prediction, Himadri? We have to know.
There is a saying that you have peaked a little too early.
Ooh, don't say that.
I am praying and I'm hoping, this is as much as a wood I can touch, that India has not peaked too early in the tournament. Right now, South Africa are playing without that fear which we have associated with them in the past. We'll see when the knockout stage does come, what happens with them. Australia are peaking nicely now. I think it'll all boil down to semi-finals and how India takes the pressure. But the great thing about this particular Indian team, especially which we have seen, they look settled. Most of the players look like they're in the zone.
Yeah.
And that being in the zone is so important, not just as an individual,
Yeah.
but as a team as well.
Yeah.
Because that's that mindset, right? When you're so focused, it's almost like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
I think most of the players are in that tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Plus the know-how and the experience of the conditions that they have. And the recent past heartbreaks, which we have all seen too many.
Yeah.
Since the Champions Trophy, which we won, which I covered in the UK. I hope when we are in the final and BCCI also gets its way and produces a wicket which slightly favors India.
Thank you, Himadri. What I really enjoy talking with you, is that you don't just say stuff like it's a headline you read somewhere. You know the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes, and that is why this conversation is very engaging. And I can tell you this as someone who grew up on sports and then somewhere gave up on cricket, especially when that Hansi Cronje, the whole scandal
that was a
broke
setback,
out. Yeah, that's when I gave up on the game. But
it's like it's like you sat in the car and there was an accident.
yeah, I stopped
Ab gaadi
driving.
to chalana nahi chodoge na.
Thank you, Himadri.
Pleasure.
Do
Thank
come
you.
back.
Yes.
And of course, come back for the next episode of Hey Karish with another guest right here.
Hey guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Hey Karish.